Hi, I'm Rob Nairn. I'm the principal double bass and violone player with the Australian Brandenburg Orchestra. Welcome to my home. And this is clearly the music room, or the double bass room. Paul asked if I'd like to do a concerto and a Baroque program. The trouble with that is that there really aren't any solo concertos for the violone in the Baroque period. The very first concertos for violone really appear in the 1750s and 1760s. There's a ton of beautiful solo literature for the violone dating back to the early 1600s from a wealth of different composers like Ortiz and Bassani and so forth, but not concertant writing as in a concerto at all. So I thought, well, we know that there were people who specialised in the bass, even though bass was probably an instrument that was probably the third or fourth instrument that someone had and played if there was one around during a substantial part of the Baroque period. Violone is a generic term. It means basically any instrument in the bass register. So 8-foot or 16-foot. So 16-foot are the contrabass instruments, 8-foot is the cello register, and there are violones in both registers. So it referred to a family of instruments. We today in the 20th century kind of, to avoid confusion and so forth, talk about a G violone, which is an 8-foot instrument, and a D violone typically, which is a 16-foot instrument. And there are other instruments they play, but typically that's what we kind of gravitate to, and particularly at the course in Juilliard, we taught those two instruments specifically. And then there's the classical instrument, which is the Viennese violone. So these are double basses, and this is a violone. And the main differences, these are the construction. This is a viol instrument, so it's very light, really, really super light. And it has frets and a large number of strings. I mean, it has 5, often they had 6. They're not designed for big projection and a big hall, but we get there. Real challenges in playing a cello concerto, particularly one like this is very filigreed writing, are the frets. They get in the way, and you can see that I've had to put lots and lots of little things in to stop them because they keep moving, and I've got to jam them in place really tightly. So I'll retie them all before next month, before I come up to Sydney. Playing fast passages, very, very fast passages, like in this Vivaldi, you get kind of rope burn on your fingers because you're going over the frets so fast and so many times, and with a lot of repetition. So yeah, it definitely gets challenging. And just speed. These instruments don't speak really fast, but yet you want to, or you sort of have this feeling that you want to play them not at the same speed as the cello, but pretty close, because you listen to cello recordings, you think, oh, that sounds great, I want to do that, and then you're playing it an octave lower essentially most of the time, or even passages you're playing in the same octave, it's in a much thicker, deep voice. You play pieces, to take the time to make the instrument resonate and speak does mean you've got to take slower tempos very often. So you won't hear the same sort of speed in the third movement, for instance, of this concerto that you would expect with a cello, because otherwise you're just going to hear and nothing, no real sound. It'll look impressive, but you won't hear anything. So my concerto is very small compared to the really big concertos that sort of bookend it. And Shaun playing the grosso mocal, I would pay really big money just to hear him play that, because it's such an incredibly impressive concerto, and he will totally nail it. This piece I particularly chose because it's quite short and small. It's, it'll be 10 minutes, but it'll feel like a really short kind of 10 minutes. But it'll give people a chance to see the bass played all over the place, and just simply that opportunity to see the instrument sitting in front of the orchestra rather than all the way behind. So I'm very excited and very humbled to be part of this program. Well, I think there are little concertos that happen from time to time in various programs that we do, but this is an opportunity to really see a lot of the principles of the orchestra really shine. You're going to see musicians really playing concertos as the major part of the program rather than, a little filler in a program, which they so often are, but the fact that you've got musicians of that kind of quality that can step in and play these concertos in any sort of program is really quite incredible. It's full of the most extraordinary music you're going to hear. If you like coming to the Brandenburg and you're going to come to this concert, and I urge you, this is one of the really special ones for the year. I mean, in a year that's full of a lot of great highlights, this is, for me personally, but I think also for the audience, something that's quite special.